DFL Vice Chair Shivanthi Sathanandan, who was carjacked in Minneapolis, and then the day after posted on Facebook that social media post then went viral. It became and then folks pointed out the perceived hypocrisy. We'll talk about this and break all of this down. That she had during the uprising following the murder of George Floyd, called for the dismantling of the Minneapolis Police Department. So first, of course, would say that I'm certain, speak for all of us, our hearts and with Vice Chair Sathanandan
and her children,
and everyone, right? Her children who witnessed the violent assault, and her neighbors who tried to intervene and such, but thought we should talk about it because of the political implications of of kind of the directions that it has gone, both in terms of what she wrote and then how because one of the weird things I think that has happened is that despite actually her explicitly then calling for tougher penalties, although some of the penalties she's calling for
they went into effect.
They went into effect
that day.
For carjacking. That she was also then really mocked by right wingers on social media, in ways that I actually genuinely at first, because when I first read her post, I was like, oh, this is conservatives are going to use this, and what I didn't expect was people to sort of rip her apart for basically suggesting she was faking it in some ways, and so which was I'm talking about Minnesota radio hosts and things like that. So but yeah.
Well, so obviously the DFL is going to take hits when it comes to public safety, right? There was a full on,
especially when one of
and I think it is reasonable to say for a party that led the defund the police movement, and you can say whatever you want, but a good portion of the DFL party supported that movement. Than to have someone call for, prosecuting and harsher penalties, and just seems, it's going to be called into question, particularly someone from Minneapolis. That's just, you have to expect that people are going to, call a little bit of hypocrisy on that. Yeah. That as long as it's not happening to you're absolutely defund the police and you're very strong about that. And then it happens to you and the tables are turned instead of all the other people that has been happening to. Carjackings have been on the rise in Minneapolis and St. Paul for many years now. And a lot of families have been hurt, and a lot of people, and I feel so bad for her and her family, and I'm sorry for her children. I'm sorry for what happened to her. I don't think it's something to mock, but certainly to sort of go, when you need the police, you want them there.
Well,
I mean, she thanked the police. She didn't seem to be saying they were slow, or she was kind of we need to put these people in jail.
She was saying that there should be more of a deterrent. That there need to be tougher penalties that would deter this from happening.
Which were put in place immediately before. I mean, I think it's always a bad idea to jump online when you're still emotional about something. I mean, I broke my arm once falling off a bike, and it was probably 2 days before I was I think it's a really bad idea if you represent someone or something. Because if you're the second vice, whatever, I don't know what the position is, but if you're that of the DFL, of course, when you're saying something, no matter what your online profile says, these are not the opinions, even if you have that, what you say is going to be reflected on the organizations you represent. So I think you got to think it through before you. Now, who knows if she still feels this way? And, people went back through her previous post was, about right after the uprising was pretty long and pretty detailed. And it's just, I just always think just stay off. My thoughts. Nobody should tweet. Nobody should post.